In the world of Super Mario, there are a lot of weird creatures. For example, recently I covered the Shy Guy and I saw that a lot of you absolutely loved that. And so today we are back with another interesting creature to look at, the Lumas, who are adorable little creatures that were first seen in Super Mario Galaxy. However, at the end of the day, we know very little about them. Where do they come from? Where do they get their powers? And what can they even do? Well, today we will look into all of this because for years I didn't really cover these mysterious little buggers. So, let's jump right in. But first, introducing my new store, Wily.gg, the place to buy your new games and get your hands on eShop cards for Nintendo as well as Xbox. And don't forget, use code Wily at checkout to save 10%. Now let's continue. Now this is a Luma, a friendly and helpful creature that often helps Mario in his adventure through the cosmos. They are much like a power star, but are more circular and have the ability to talk. Aside from that, they have the ability to transform, from minor planetoids to entire galaxies. And according to Rosalina, some Lumas can even transform into actual power stars. But this isn't all. When they try to help Mario, we can see that they can also turn into things like Sling and launch stars, which are useful to get around. Now in the games, they call Rosalina their mama, and most of them live with her on the Comet Observatory, while others live on Starship Mario, following their leader Luba, who is seen in the second Super Mario Galaxy game. In a lot of ways, they are quite odd. They follow a leader like a toad almost, but at least they can live on their own somewhere, which the Lumas don't really do. So while Lumas remind me of toads, they are still very different and seem to function as a collective group in most cases, usually helping Rosalina in some way. Thanks to this, I started thinking about these weird little beings. Where do they come from? How do they have all these weird powers? And why are they so obsessed with Rosalina? No one really has an answer for this. When I asked people around me who played the Galaxy games and loved them, they barely knew anything about the Lumas after beating the entire game. So I would say it is about time to find out more about these adorable little star creatures. And to start off, we will look at Rosalina because I think she is key. She was born in the Mushroom Kingdom and that's where she was raised as a child. But one day she found a shooting star, which was actually a spaceship with a Luma inside of it. And this is when everything changed. Now the Luma was looking for her mother and Rosalina decided to help the Luma. And together they fixed the spaceship and set off to find Luma's mom. They traversed throughout space, encountering comets, asteroids, and even starbits. But then Rosalina starts to miss her own mother, and so the two begin to build a new home that would eventually become the Comet Observatory. Now as she and the Luma built the home, Rosalina takes more Lumas under her wing, and after they see the 100th comet, Rosalina looks back at her home planet, which then causes her to feel greatly upset and also homesick. And at that point, she comes to terms with the fact that her own mother is dead. Now the young Luma who traversed with Rosalina tells her that her mother is always a part of her, and then transforms into a comet that can traverse to Rosalina's home planet. She then declares that the Lumas are her family now, and that they will visit her home planet once every 100 years, which is known as the Star Festival in the Mushroom Kingdom. Now clearly she has a tragic backstory, which was actually added at the last minute and Shigeru Miyamoto didn't even approve it. But this story is also very mysterious. She clearly didn't create the Lumas because she came across one as a child. However, it does look like that she has some weird powers, because even after 100 years, she is still alive and doesn't look old at all. And while all of this is incredibly weird, it does show that she isn't the real mother of the Lumas. Heck, it could even be that the powers of the Lumas give Rosalina her powers and stop her from aging. We can see in other games like Super Smash Bros. That she uses the powers of the Lumas to her advantage. But that game isn't canon. However, I will get back to this later on in the video, because while the Lumas could have something to do with Rosalina's interesting powers, there's also another option. So now that we know that Rosalina isn't really an option for the Luma's origin, where do they come from then? Well, I did find something. It seems like the Lumas are born from the powers of the stars and are connected to the cosmos, which is mentioned in the beginning of Rosalina's
storybook. The Luma in that story mentions that its mama is coming for it on a comet. So personally, I think the comet itself is its mother. Later on in the story, when a new Luma shows up, we can also see that a new planet has showed up. Because in the story it says, from the planet another Luma of the same color emerged. This once again shows that Lumas are born from comets and planets, almost as if they are baby planets. Which they kind of are, because as we have seen in both Galaxy games, if you feed them enough, they can turn into a planet, comet, or even an entire galaxy. In a way, it's similar to a caterpillar who goes through some sort of metamorphosis phase to become a butterfly. And in the story, you can also see that the Lumas born from this planet mistake Rosalina as their mother, even though she clearly isn't. So in the end, she just attracted a lot of Lumas who assumed that she was their mother, and so she became the person we saw in the Galaxy games. Clearly, the Lumas are born from all kinds of things in space, which also gives them their powers, and Nintendo even hints towards how these planets are able to create new Lumas. Because when the Luma transforms into a comet, a blue Luma says, that Luma turned into a real cutie of a comet, didn't he? Now in my opinion, this clearly hints at the fact that these Lumas, comets, planets, or even galaxies end up having partners who they have babies with. Luma babies. And as you can imagine, such adult themes are not covered in detail in a game like Super Mario. Which is a bit odd, because in games like Majora's Mask, they are a lot more straightforward about it when you're doing the Zora Egg quest. However, now we have to look at one last thing. The final piece to this cosmic puzzle. The star bits. We know that Lumas are powerful, but they become significantly stronger after transforming into a galaxy, or even a superstar, which can be found in most Super Mario titles. And personally, I think this is due to the star bits. They are small shards of raw cosmic energy, which allows them to do almost anything. And without these, they most likely wouldn't survive, and they certainly wouldn't be able to transform. It could even be that Rosalina was able to create some of the Lumas using just star bits, although this isn't mentioned in any of the games. However, personally, I think this could be possible. And I also think Rosalina was able to obtain cosmic powers and an unnaturally long lifespan due to the star bits. In the story she tells, it's mentioned that Rosalina can eat them and that they taste like honey. So it could be that, just like the Lumas, she gained new powers by eating star bits. And she probably ate loads of them because there isn't a supermarket in space. So I bet food can be quite scarce. Now still, she and the Lumas remain quite mysterious. Very little is explained, which is usually the case in most Super Mario titles. But now we at least have an idea of where these creatures come from, why they are so powerful, and why Rosalina is such a powerful mother figure for them. However, this isn't the only mystery I've covered on this channel. I also did one on the Shy Guys, which I mentioned at the beginning of the video as well. So be sure to check out that video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm still a bit sick. My voice is better again. It's getting better and better every day. But, I don't know if you heard it in the voiceover, but, I'm a bit sick. Thank you all for watching the video, though, and I love you. Leave a like and subscribe and click the bell button and do all that stuff. It really helps out your boy, yes. Alright, bye, everybody. Kisses from Papa. Mwah!